Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will learn about the stanza. This one is an interesting subject of our book selection from English was. So I'm Syed Wajid Ali Shah from Government Degree College Thul, Lecturer English, District Jacobabad. Dear student, today's topic is very paramount and important topic to understand the stanza of poetry, verse. How can we identify the lines in poetry? In this way, today I have prepared my lecture and I am going to deliver it on the topic of stanza. So first of all, I would like to tell you something about a stanza. That a stanza is a group of lines in poetry, or a unit of lines in poetry, or an association of lines in poetry is called a stanza. So these all things we should read in prosody, which is so-called rules of versification. And something I have to tell about the poetry, that poetry is metrical composition and poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling. Poetry is the name of expression of inner feelings. So another word for poetry is versification or verse. So there are so many types of poetry, just like subjective poetry and objective. Regarding to some critics, subjective poetry, it has only personal touch. Well, objective poetry, it has universal touch. So it is also subdivided into two kinds or parts: romantic poetry and classic poetry, on the behalf of their periods and taste. So first of all, in our book selection from English for intermediate book, so I have sorted out some forms of a stanza, and I would like to present all of these. So top of the list, I have made a drawn diagram in the model of 8 lines. So dear friends, dear students, this one is a diagram of 8 lines, and this one is a diagram of 6 lines. So I have also inserted and mentioned and presented the rhyme scheme with the help of these marks. Okay, so these two diagrams are containing on 14 lines. Our famous form of a stanza, which is called sonnet, is containing on 14 lines, and our famous poem sonnet composed upon Westminster Bridge is written in this form. So the upper part of a stanza in sonnet is containing on 8 lines, and their rhyme scheme is: first line is rhymed with fourth, fifth line, while second, third lines are unrhymed. First, again I would like to say that in the upper and the highest or the topper stanza of sonnet, rhyme scheme is just like this. And this one is a bunch of the cluster of 6 lines. So the addition of the calculation will be 14 lines, and this is the model of sonnet, because it is containing on 14 lines. First upper part is called octave because of the 8 lines, and the lower one part is called the sistat because of the 6 lines. Sistat. Well, this one is octave. Okay, this one is the definition of and a model and a diagram of sonnet. And now we are going to over another form of a stanza, and this one is called a couplet, and the lower one is also called couplet. The thing is that there's a little bit discrimination in both. This couplet is in this type of a stanza, both lines are rhymed, while in the lower one, both are not rhymed, but it is also called couplet. So the rhymed couplet is also called heroic couplet because of the rhyming and because their usage in long narrative poems and epic poems. Therefore, these are called heroic couplets. Well, couplets, it is taken from two. It means both or two lines, two little lines in poetry is called couplet. So our selection from English was in various poems. There's the usage of couplets. So this one is a simple definition or example of couplet. Two bodies, one heart, we are named as two eyes in one face framed. This is one of the famous couplet of our dear friend Professor Hassan Sheikh Saab from Shah Latif University. Now we are going to, dear student, we are going to another form of a stanza, and this stanza is containing on 7 lines. Well, about the definition, I would like to say that the heroic couplet consists of two iambic pentameter lines rhyming together, and it is also called a regular couplet, rhymed couplet, or heroic couplet. Well, in heroic couplet, each line consists of 5 feet or 10 syllables, and each foot is accented. This one is necessary thing. Each foot is accented. So now we're going to another form of stanza, number 3. So this type of stanza is also called Chaucerian stanza or rhyme rhyme. That's the usage in our book. Chaucerian stanza, because it was first of all used by Geoffrey Chaucer, who was the father of English poetry. Is a type of a stanza, and it is containing on 7 iambic pentameter, and its rhyme scheme is as 7 iambic pentameter, and rhyme scheme is A rhyme rhyme or Chaucer stanza A B B, and couplets are used in Deserted Village, Abbot of Canterbury, and other poems of first year and second year verse book. So, dear student, quatrains are used or existed in Character of Happy Life and other poems of selection from English verse. Octosyllabic couplets are used in Lay of Last Minstrel, poem by Walter Scott. But, dear students, Ottawa rhyme, tercet, and other forms of stanza are also used in intermediate verse book, but most of them are introduced and invented by Geoffrey Chaucer because he was father of English. So leave it, and we are going to another form of stanza. So this one is a stanza containing on 3 lines. It is called tercet because of the 3 lines. First line is rhymed with third line, while the second line is unrhymed to animal. So, tercet, another form is or. Another form is it is also containing on 3 lines. And this first line is not rhymed with third line. There isn't any kind of a rhyme. It is also called tercet. Now we are going to another form of a stanza, and it is a group of 4 lines, and it is also called quatrain. So the quatrain it is called 4-line poem. So the quatrain stanza of 4 iambic pentameter lines. In its rhyme scheme, the first line is rhymed with the second line, second, and with the fourth. The first line is rhymed with third, while the second is with fourth. There's another form of stanza which is containing on 4 lines, but it's different to quatrain, and it is called rubai. It is a particular form of a stanza, first of all produced by Omar Khayyam, Persian poet. So the formation of quatrain and rubai is different to each other because of their rhyme scheme. In quatrain, first line is rhymed with third line, while second and fourth are rhymed. But in rubai, first line is rhymed with second, while fourth line is rhymed with first and second, while third line is unrhymed in rubai. This one is another form of a stanza. It is also called Japanese form of a stanza, haiku. So, haiku, a stanza of 3 lines. Its rhyme scheme is A, B, A, but its midst line has more syllable than first and the third. So, this line shows that the midst line has more syllable than first and third. While first and third are rhymed, and second is unrhymed in haiku. This one is our another form of stanza, which is containing on 5 line. So no doubt this is not inserted in our book, but it is also given in our annual exam papers. The examples of limericks are given in our papers. So the limerick is also called nonsense verse. A stanza of 5 lines. Its rhyme scheme is first line is rhymed with second line, while third and fourth are rhymed to each other, while fifth line is rhymed to first and second. So this one is the diagram of limerick, nonsense work, as a new form of poetry in English and every language. So dear student, so these are the diagrams and forms of stanza which I have presented here, and accept them. There's another form of stanza which is containing on 8 lines. It is called Ottawa rhyme. A stanza of 8 iambic pentameter. Its rhyme is A, B. It means first line is A, B, and A, B, and C, C. This one is the rhyme scheme of there's another form of a stanza which is called Alexandrine. So Alexandrine is containing one every type of a stanza, a line. Alexandrine, each line is containing 12 syllables. And it is also called a stanza, a stanza of 8 iambic pentameter lines. Every line is containing 12 syllables. Therefore, it is called a stanza or Alexandrine. So I have mentioned all of these forms of stanza which were given in our selection from English verse, sonnet, couplet, heroic couplet, Chaucerian stanza. So Chaucerian stanza, this one is the example of Chaucerian stanza. So the Chaucerian stanza, it is also called rhyme ryle. It is a stanza of 7 iambic pentameter, and its rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, B, which is given in the number first line is rhymed with 3 line, while the second is rhymed with fourth, while sixth and seventh lines are rhymed to each other. This is called Chaucerian stanza. So dear students, these are the models and the diagrams of the forms of stanza which are given in our intermediate selection from English verse book. And inshallah, I'll be here with my new lecture with an interesting topic. And I would like to say goodbye.